Hello, everybody. I'm Steve, and Happy New Year. So tonight I want to do my 10 favorite movies from 2023. And these aren't necessarily Best Picture nominees, that kind of thing. They're not the ones that are going to make the Oscar list or anything. I actually am going to do an Oscar prediction video. The announcements are going to be out on January 23rd. So I'll get that video out probably that weekend before. But last year I actually picked like 9 out of 10 Oscar nominations correctly and picked the winner as well. I think the only one I got wrong was I picked The Whale because I knew that Brendan Fraser was going to get an Oscar nomination, and he actually won Best Lead Actor. And also I had not seen Triangle of Sadness at that time, so I based on what I knew, I picked the 9 out of 10 right. So I'm hoping I can do that again this year. I had to do some more studying, and there's actually some more like Best Picture nominees or potential Best Picture nominees I'd still need to watch. So, and I did that last year too. Leading up to the actual Oscars, I actually had to watch some of those videos last minute. You had to scramble different streaming services, and some are going to be re-released in the theaters. So I will see some of those, but these are really what I'm calling like the most enjoyable movies from 2023. Not necessarily the best, because you can always argue what movies are the best. I think a lot of these movies will get nominations for Oscars, but not necessarily for Best Picture, but for other awards, in the Oscar race, kind of thing. But so these are movies that I think are the most enjoyable, most fun, that kind of thing. So you can certainly leave in the comments, which ones you liked, which one you didn't like. I have one really polarizing movie in my list here that a lot of people have kind of been taking different sides on. So it's not necessarily hands down the best or worst movie from last year, but so I have some really good ones here, and I'm really excited to kind of share these with you. But so at number 10, this is one. A lot of these, of course, I saw a lot of these in December. It's when a lot of the big movies, for award season get released, and they all get released, near the end of the year, like Christmas Day and that kind of thing. And then people have January to actually catch up on all these movies when there are less new ones being released. But so this first one was one I really enjoyed. It's the Iron Claw. I love that kind of thing. It's got Zac Efron in it, which he's actually making more quality performances now, where they're not all like comedies, that kind of thing. I really enjoy the cast. Jeremy Allen White. A lot of people know him from his TV show. I think it's what's it called, The Chef or something. Harris Dickinson. He was actually in Triangle of Sadness last year. He's also from the Kingsman, and also as Lily James. She's really great in the movie. Has Holt McCallany, I believe his name is. He played Fritz von Erich. Anybody that knows that family, even if you're not necessarily a wrestling fan, if you look up and just kind of study it a little bit, you'll see kind of the tragedy that happened to this family. So it's a dark movie in a lot of ways. It's not like a pure. It's more like The Wrestler. I think like that movie, The Wrestler. It's more like that, where it's a serious kind of almost like art house kind of movie, but it's entertaining as well. It has its entertainment in it. At number 9, this one was I think a lot of people love this movie. It's one that's got a lot of buzz. I don't know if it's going to get a Best Picture nomination. I don't know if it's going to get any kind of like a foreign film nomination, but it's a Godzilla Minus One. This is a real surprise. Even if you're not a fan of Godzilla, this is really enjoyable, and so many people have said some really great things about this movie. It's all in Japanese, so that's one thing. It's all subtitles. I don't think it's extremely dialogue driven, that's one thing I really enjoy about Japanese movies, is that they're not extremely dialogue driven. They're more visual movies, which that's great. I think that really translates internationally to people that if you don't speak Japanese, that you can enjoy the movie more because it is so visual. Godzilla's turning 70 next year. This movie definitely reminded me more of the original Godzilla from 1954, which is on the Criterion Collection. It's got that kind of look, and it's kind of similar kind of storyline kind of thing. But I enjoyed it. Some people don't like the third act of the movie as much, what they did with one of the main characters. But I thought for the budget, people say it might be about $15 million or so that they spent on this. and for that, I thought they get, the special effects, they got a lot out of that look. So yeah, I enjoy that one. I think Godzilla fans would definitely really love this movie. So that's my number 9. At number 8, this one's definitely the most polarizing of any of my picks here, and it all depends if you like musicals or not. And but the movie is Wonka. I thought, a lot of people didn't know this was going to be a musical, for one thing. I think it's very lighthearted. It's made for comedy. It's really made for kids in a lot of ways. It's not as dark as the original from 1971 or the Burton Depp movie. It's definitely not like that. And I've heard people kind of talk about, Timothy Chalamet plays Wonka, and I've recently read somebody say, oh, he sings off key in the movie. They're really picky about that. I think the movie's just made for fun. Hugh Grant, he plays the Oompa Loompa. Apparently, people don't really get his humor, his sarcasm, because he talks about how much he hated. I've heard people say that he's talked about how much he hated playing the role. It's not like they made him play this role. I'm sure he knew what an Oompa Loompa was before he took the money. So I doubt if he was completely surprised. As Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean. Anybody that knows that British character over the years, it's a Keegan Michael Key. Anybody that knows, Key and Peele, knows that Jordan Peele, obviously from Get Out, the director of that, they know him from Mad TV as well. So I think a lot of my picks I do have a lot of comedy in my picks because I still like to laugh in a lot of ways. I notice a lot of people love more dramatic movies way more than they do anything that'll make them laugh. They want something. It can't be. It has to be as far as art films. It can't have comedy. It has to be serious. That's how a lot of people take movies nowadays. But I still like to laugh. I'm at an age where I did grow up where movies made people laugh and brought families together, and it definitely hopefully didn't divide people like Wonka did. So I enjoyed Wonka, but obviously. You can leave in the comments and tell me how much you hated Wonka if you want to, but I've got it at number 8 though. So at number 7, this is actually one of the 5 movies on my list that I actually own. One of these, I know one of these you can see on Disney Plus, but I believe you can. But so at number 7, I have Air. I really enjoy this movie. It's has Matt Damon. It's directed by Ben Affleck. Has Jason Bateman. Has Marlon Wayans is in it. It has Viola Davis. So this movie, at the time, I thought maybe it had a chance of maybe getting an Oscar nomination, and then so many other movies. I think better movies. It just in terms of performances, I think there are better movies out there. But as far as entertainment, I think this one, anybody that grew up at my age, that grew up in the '80s and '90s, they'll know Michael Jordan. I like what they did with Michael Jordan in this. They didn't focus on the character so much, more the backstory about basically changing sports forever, making a shoe deal that benefited the athlete, which at the time athletes were not treated. They weren't treated as the stars that they are now. You can argue whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah. So at number 7, I have Air. So at number 6, I have another one that I own. It's the movie is Dumb Money. This one, it's I'm sure a lot of people. This might be polarizing as well. A lot of ways. It has a lot of comedy. It has a lot of f-bombs in the movie. Some light, drug use and that kind of thing. So it's definitely not a family movie. It's about it has a story that I'm sure a lot of people won't be interested in about saving GameStop from going under. I thought Paul Dano is really great in this. It has a great cast in it. Vincent D'Onofrio. Pete Davidson, America Ferrera, as Anthony Ramos, Nick Offerman, Sebastian Stan, Shailene Woodley, Seth Rogen there. That's Paul Dano. I thought he was great in this movie, but I think a lot of people didn't see this. It didn't do that well at the theater. I saw it twice in the theater, so it kind of. I connected with this movie than a lot of people probably did. And I think some people are watching it now. Now it's on physical media. People are actually watching this movie, and I haven't heard anything bad about it. But you let me know in the comments what you think of this movie if you've seen it. And if you haven't seen it, please check it out. So number 5, another one I don't own is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This one is I think it's on Disney Plus, I believe, which is kind of crazy that Disney puts all their movies on their channel basically, or I think they're maybe getting away from that, putting them out so early. I think they're trying to give them a theatrical run and maybe starting to get into physical media again, so people can actually buy them and before they actually just throw it out there and let people see it for free basically with the Disney Plus subscription. But Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana has Karen Gillan, Dave Bautista. It's directed by James Gunn. This is before I guess he was fired from Marvel and took over DC. This one I thought and it's the only Marvel movie I have on my list, but I enjoy this one too. There's another Marvel animated movie that I thought was really good too, but I didn't put it in my top 10. But that's the Spider-Man movie that a lot of people loved, and I enjoyed that movie too. I just didn't put it in my top 10, but I thought that was a good movie as well. But so I've got this one at number 5. At number 4, I might have another one that's kind of polarizing. It's Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. This one, it's starring Tom Cruise, Haley Atwell, Rebecca Ferguson, has Vanessa Kirby, S.A. Morales. If you've seen La Bamba, he played Richie Valens' brother in that movie. I had not seen him in a long time. I thought he was good in the movie. Obviously, it has Ving Rhames. He's been in most of the Mission Impossible movies. Simon Pegg. I thought this was great, though. I think the next one's going to be out in 2024, Part 2. Obviously, so this one doesn't have an ending. It's like 2.5 hours long. Thought it was really exciting, but obviously we don't know how the story is going to end. But still, I like this even though it's Part 1. I still really enjoy this movie. So at number 3, this is one I've probably seen most recently. It's the movie Poor Things. It's starring Emma Stone. I thought she was outstanding in this movie. Willem Dafoe, Mark Ruffalo. I thought outstanding cast. Really bizarre movie. It's kind of an art house. I wouldn't call it horror. They call it fantasy sci-fi. It's definitely an art house kind of movie. It's directed by a Greek director. So I enjoy this a lot. It's one I plan to buy, and once it gets released on physical media, I enjoyed it a lot. I think this movie will be nominated for Best Picture, one of the 10 nominees. Emma Stone, she could win an Oscar for her part in this movie. I think that's quite possible. She already has won Oscar before, so I thought she was really, really great in this movie. So yeah, I've got this one at number 3. At number 2, I think a lot of people are really enjoying this movie. It's The Holdovers. I actually just got this one in the mail today. It was actually delivered from, I think it was Walmart.com, and it arrived on my doorstep today. I was already planning on doing this video even before it arrived, but I'm glad I have something to hold here. But it's a big comeback, I think, for Alexander Payne. Paul Giamatti, one of my favorite actors. I love American Splendor. I think it's one of his best performances. Sideways is really great too. But has a young actor named Dominic Sessa. Thought he was really good in the movie, and it has Divine is also in it as well. I thought she was really great. They're all listed on on the slipcover here. But I enjoyed this one a lot. Maybe the only criticism is it's like 2 hours and 13 minutes. For a movie that's it's sort of a comedy in some ways. They say it's a comedy drama listed here, but I enjoy this one a lot. And like I said, I think it's a huge comeback for Alexander Payne. So yeah, I recommend it. If you haven't seen The Holdovers, I think you would like it. I think it might still be in theaters now, possibly. But yeah, definitely check it out either in the theater or streaming or physical media. Check it out in some ways. I think you'll enjoy it. So at number 1, this is my favorite movie. I think it could win Best Picture possibly, but it's Oppenheimer. Directed by Christopher Nolan. I thought Cillian Murphy's really great in this. Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, Josh Hartnett's pretty good. Matt Damon. I thought it had a great cast. Christopher Nolan. I think he could win Best Director possibly. He used, all practical effects, didn't use any CGI at all. I think some of this movie translates best on the big screen. Some of the scenes when I watched it at home didn't translate as well. The sound, picture, it didn't work quite as well. But I think when you take a huge movie like that and kind of shrink it down onto a television screen, it's going to be a little bit different. But still, I think it's great. I'd love to see it win a lot of awards, but we'll see. The voters will decide how it all goes. But this is my number 1. So thank you for watching tonight. I have a Criterion haul I'm going to do with 5 new films I'm going to do for that. I have some more digital codes to give away. Really excited about this month. I've got so much I want to do. Obviously, I want to do the Oscar picks as well, like I said. So I've got quite a bit I want to do this month, and so really excited about that. But if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that. please put a thumbs up on this video. It definitely helps with the YouTube algorithm. And have a great one. Thank you. Bye.